Back to our special coverage of the kidnapping case in Cleveland. You have just heard from the survivors and their families. Moments after they spoke in court, Ariel Castro himself stood up, rambled for a bit about his childhood, music career, life before the abductions. But then, minutes in, this man addressed these women each by name and put the blame on them. As we said, we are not playing the whole thing. Here's just a portion.
Look, this is how it works. I will take her to church. I will come home and just be normal, like a normal family. These accusations that I will come home and beat her, beat them, those are totally wrong, Your Honor. Because like I stated before, I am not a violent person. I know what I did is wrong, but I'm not a violent person. I simply kept them there without them being able to leave. I know when I picked up the second victim, which was Gina, I don't understand how I passed up my own daughter to pick her up. Because I was driven by sex. And no, I did not know who she was. I saw her walking with my daughter, but I did not know that she was related to the DeJesus family. Because I know her dad. We went to school together. We didn't see much of each other at school, but I know him from school. Amanda, she got into my vehicle without even knowing what it was. I don't blame you. I'm not putting the fault at her, but I'm just saying I'm trying to make a point across that I am not a violent predator that you're trying to make me look a monster. I'm not a monster. I'm a normal person. I am just sick. I have an addiction. Just like an alcoholic has an addiction. Alcoholics cannot control their addiction. That's why I couldn't control my addiction, Your Honor. But, most of the sex that went on in the house, probably all of it, was consensual. These allegations about being forceful on them, that is totally wrong. Because there was times that they would even ask me for sex, many times. And I learned that these girls were not virgins from their testimony to me. They had multiple partners before me, all three of them. Finally, I would like to apologize to the victims, to Amanda, Berry and Gina, DeJesus, and Michelle. I am truly sorry for what happened. To this day, I'm trying to answer my own questions. I don't know why. Amanda had everything going on for himself. I had a job, I had a home, I had vehicles, I had my musical talent. I had everything going on for me, Your Honor. I had a good history of working, providing. I just hope they can find it in their hearts to forgive me.
A lot to talk about here. Monica Lindstrom, attorney and former prosecutor, Midwin Charles, criminal defense attorney, and Carol Lieberman, forensic psychiatrist. Welcome back. Wow. Where to even begin? Carol, okay, I guess my first question is, and jotting down a bunch of notes as I was watching him, you know, he basically takes, 10 plus minutes sitting there in court, talks about his music career, talks about his daughter, says he's not a monster, he's just sick, and something like, 8 minutes in, he finally says, "I'm sorry," and denies a heck of a lot in between. What was your reaction?
Well, to the extent that he believes what he said, and isn't just saying it to try to make a better impression on the court as far as leniency, You know, he says he's not violent, but obviously this is a man who does have a sex addiction, sexual problems. But, you know, when you have a sex addiction, you don't have to find 3 women and tie them up in your house for 10 years. You know, you may go out to bars and find women various ways and have sex, you know, manipulating women into it sometimes. But what he did, even if he didn't beat them, which is not likely, it's hard to believe that, still what he did is violent enough.
Let me just hit pause. And by the way, you know, according to these women, according to police and everything they suffered, yes, he did. But pause. There is a press conference happening right now, given by the prosecutor here in this case in Cleveland. Let's just dip in real quickly and take a listen.
Or to properly classify him. These women outlasted him. They survived him. We are all in admiration of them for what they did and how they withstood from day to day and survived day to day and outwitted this guy to the point where they could finally break free and be rescued or free themselves as they did. You heard from them and the representatives. We will always be inspired. The law enforcement was dedicated to find these women. They never gave up. They looked and they searched, and no one was, other than the family, of course, was more relieved or happy than these individual law enforcement officers. So I want to thank the law enforcement officers for their faith and their willingness to continue. I want to give my heartfelt thanks to the Cleveland Police, represented today here by Chief Calvin Williams. Chief McGrath is in another meeting, an emergency matter. The second partner here is FBI. The FBI here has been tremendous in all aspects of this case. They work with the Cleveland Police and the Sheriff's Office and BCI from start to finish. And I want to thank the agent in charge, the special agent in charge, Steve Anthony of the FBI, representing a tremendous group, not just here in Cleveland, but the FBI agents who came in from Washington and agents from different parts of the country to handle different aspects from the scientific end to the working with the victims or the interviews, handling the interviews of this criminal, and the people in the behavioral science unit, and of course the sheriff. We've got a great sheriff here, Sheriff Frank Bova, and his representatives are here, and you see them in uniform and in person. This is a great sheriff's unit, a great detective unit. Their help has been instrumental all the way through. I want to give special thanks to the individual Cleveland police officers and FBI agents and sheriffs who were working on this case continually for over a decade, who were emotionally moved that night when this was found and are still moved by this and inspired by these ladies who outwitted this rapist murderer.
So the prosecutor, again, just hearing him after this, you know, multiple hour-long sentencing hearing for Ariel Castro, just basically saying thank you. Thank you to police. Thank you to the FBI. Thank you, Judge, for this entire process. This has been, these kidnappings have really just plagued the city of Cleveland for more than a decade. And finally to have not closure, but the end, you know, putting this man away for the rest of his life is obviously huge for these 3 young women and 1 little girl. Coming up next, you will hear one detective describe how Castro lured his victims into that house of horrors. Coming up.